don't you think your party at a point in time underestimated those people who left the party? Because we're trying to look at the results. If you look at the results, look at results coming in from Benue, a couple of other states, Kwara, and these are states, well, your party hasn't actually won, lost. You know, you have never lost in those states, but on this day, they lost. And we were looking at the personalities, you know, the heavyweights from those regions, Barnabas Gemade, Bukola Saraki, and a couple of other states, even down southeast, Imo State, where we have a split ABGA, Rochester Okorocha moving and getting into the APC. All of this, you would agree with some other pundits that this cost the PDP loads of votes.
Yeah, sure. There is no doubt that you cannot factor the defeatees, as it were, you know, the power of those people. Because you see, every politician has a structure, no matter how small he is, even if it is at the ward level. He controls those people. And
family
people,
level.
And those people are most likely going to ask, you know, I mean, most politicians have before their names honorable this, where do you want us to vote, and all of that. There are enough people.
Do they ask?
Oh, sure they do. Oh my God, they do. You know, honorable, there are people they look up to. So that is why the point we made here is relevant, in the sense that these are people who also have structures. They call, I mean, they summon people for meetings and say, look, based on this is where we are going to. And that's what is also responsible for people when they say, we have moved. He moves with his supporters, because those people look up to him. Maybe a few will drop, but most people are are likely going to go with him, because he probably has sustained this structure for a long time. That is why a structure is so costly. A structure is as costly as running a company, because you have to keep you know, placating them, doing, you know, I mean, you need to. That's what they call refer to as structure. Of course, you need to pay for somebody's wife's maternity bills. You know, even when you didn't know when she was impregnated, and all of that. All you require is the phone call and say, my wife, I delivered.
He will never forget that.
Oh, of course.
So every time and any time you said, this is the
and
way
they keep saying so. Those who are below also, I cannot follow a leader I cannot reach.
Ooh.
That's what they. So each time they coalesce around you, it is for purposes of showing them where to go. So that is what reflected in that. But over and above that, I probably will use that as my closing statement. You know, that's the concern I have as a person. Is there's a book I bought when I was in second year, you know, and so that when I read after this election, I read it again, you know, and that's when I now noticed that I bought that book for 5 naira 50 kobo. Ethnic politics in Nigeria. Politicization of ethnicity is chapter 5 of that thing.
You remember the author?
Oh yeah, Okudiban Nole, Professor Nole wrote that book. Ethnic politics in Nigeria. At least by the time I read it, it was like, God, is this what happened? That is where we will have to work on. You see, these politics have been so ethnicized. If you look at the vote distribution and all of that, it is almost like, in short, the only place you can say there was a battleground was probably the Southwest, where the two parties were running at par, kind of, you know, struggling for the votes, and probably in Oyo State, where it's almost like a little, I mean, the gap was much. About
and also one of the states in the south Edo State.
200,000. And again, using your analogy, you can find out what happened in Edo State. Edo State is where you have Anene, who is the chairman. Anene. Good. The Anene is the other, is the round robber. I'm sorry, Anene. Okay, where you have Anene, who is the chairman of BOT. And at the same time, you have the chairman of APC in that state. Over and above that, Edo State is an APC state with a governor of APC. It's reflected on the votes. You can see, you know, how the votes came almost neck to neck, as it were. Good. In other places, the Kanos of this world, the Enugus of this world, and all of that, you will see ethnic politics at play.
Let's ask, because there are those who will look at the way it has panned out now with the introduction of the card readers, where they think, yes, our votes will count. And then they'll have the impression that, yeah, I might as well just go in and give it a shot without any major worries about, say, godfatherism. But internal democracy, they have to be concerned about that. Does this in any way have any direct bearing whatsoever to political parties' internal democratic process?
Well, I think we can even start that the reaction to that question by talking about who came into politics when the door was opened in 1999. I've always said, well, there are a lot of people of questionable character who are in politics. Indeed, the professionals are trying to see if they can carve a space for themselves. But what you said now is that the position, I mean, the political atmosphere had gotten to a level where professionals are now being attracted. But before then, it was peopled by, look at what happened in history. At a point in time when the 419 people, their business nosedived, which is at a point in time when the people were no longer replying to their letters, all those scam letters that we knew about. They didn't have any other thing they were doing. And it coincided with the introduction of politics. And all of them poured into politics. If you cast your mind back, you remember one senator, I think it's Nuhu Aliyu, and a DIG of police, that was in the Senate. And on the inauguration date, he found out that the number of people who came to say hello to him were people who were in his cell and all of that.
People get investigated according to him.
And he said, God, I can't believe it. These are suspects that are they also the members of the National Assembly, as it were. So the journalist now said, look, we need to know who these people are. And he told them to come, I think on a Thursday. I still remember that thing very clearly. By the time they came on the Thursday to tell, because he said he was going to name those, because he couldn't find himself sitting with those who are shady character or something, you know. Obviously, his colleagues would have talked to him, and he said he didn't see them again. And thing became history. Good. So that gives you an idea of the quality of persons that, you know. So they have wondered themselves. They are these people, the same people that are using siren that the police are guiding and all of that. But you see, the space is now beginning to get a little credible, so that it is attracting those who are professionals, people who are. But I can tell you that these are the people who make things happen. Those are the people you have to cut out to for you to be able to. Those class of persons, because they have gotten so entrenched in politics that they don't do any other thing other than that. They don't have any businesses.
Isn't it going to be at their own risk? Because if they think that, yes, we can hold sway in our small cocoon or wherever that is, and then they present somebody who they think will have the day of their own will, someone they like, they will present it to the people who will eventually decide. So if at the end of the day it goes and everybody's vote counts, they will have to realize that, look, we have to change from what we
so that's why we are happy now, because if the votes are counting the way they are, then chances are that those people, their days are numbered, as it were. It is a gradual process. It's not like something that happens suddenly, as it were. But let's address the card reader thing. Quite a number of places the card reader did not work. I can tell you that. Maybe Jega should also be able to give you that statistics. I mean, the numbers. And what does that portend? When a card reader fails and you say, resort to manual, it is now at the discretion of the presiding officer. He looks at you, you present a card, and he just says, it is you, it is Chamberlain, even when the face looks like Geore Eke. And he ticks for you, and then you vote. And if that card does not belong to you, you would have voted with that card. Because the audit of the card is, does your face match with that of the one that is on the card? And it is only to the satisfaction of the presiding officer. And once he says it matches, that's all. You get your ballot papers and you thumbprint. And there is no other way you can verify the authenticity of that card reader. I mean, of the ballot, of what do you call it, of the PVC. So in other words, in places where the card reader failed, you could thumbprint everybody who is accredited.